My name is Amikaeyla Gaston. I am the executive director and founder of the International Cultural Arts and Healing Sciences Institute. And I work as a cultural ambassador and travel around the world giving your mission, voice to the voiceless, and definitely getting people into the place where they can find their heart voice, where they can feel empowered with their authentic self and share it freely with the world. And I do it through music and the arts as advocacy.
So you are here by the invitation of U.S Embassy.
That's correct.
Can you please describe the program? What are you doing here, and then whom you are working with?
Absolutely. So, gratefully to the U.S. Embassy, we're here working with Company E and an amazing cast of dancers, actors, and singers to put on a new Broadway musical called A Broadway Story. And one of the things that's really interesting about this production is it's working with original cast, original storyline, as well as wedding it into Broadway musicals like Chicago with the song All That Jazz, and Anastasia with Once Upon a December. And so it's really fun to mix up the original and fantastic creation of that with things that are iconic, and we've been celebrating these songs and this music for forever.
Aside from your music career, you're also an advocate. I've seen your TEDx talk, and
Yes.
there you're talking about the story of being a survivor of a hate crime.
Yes.
And then you mentioned that you healed through music.
That's right.
Can you please describe in details what happened and how music helped you to go through all those difficult moments?
Thank you for asking. And yes, it was actually really good to talk about that experience with the TEDx talk. I was on my way to medical school and I got run over by a truck. It was 5 Caucasian men who saw an African American woman and decided to run her over, and that person was me. And they hit me and they dragged me 86 feet on a gravel road, and I had both my legs broken, all my ribs crushed, my shoulder was smashed, my eyelid came off, all kinds of things happened. And I died. I left my body. I had that whole near-death experience. I came back and I was in the hospital for 2 years. And every day the doctors would come in and they would say, today we're going to have to cut both of your legs off. And every day I'd have to say, maybe tomorrow, not today. And I would have all my friends come over who were healers and drummers and singers, and they would come and they would pray over me, and they would lay hands on me, and they would put healing stones on me. And the next day the doctors would come in and they would go, "I can't believe that your bones have grown so much." There was all the skin grafts and bone grafts that had to happen. I had over 40 operations on my body to help keep me alive. And in addition to what the doctors were doing in the hospital and what my complementary healers were doing with me, I knew that I had to heal myself. That was really the number one goal. And so I listened to music, and it wasn't just music from the radio. It was baby, baby. It was none of that. It was very spiritual, sacred music that was mainly actually music from around the world. So listening to songs that were written and played with the dutar and played with the tabla and sang in languages that I didn't know and really channeled spirit is what I had to listen to, and allowed me to enter into a hypnotic trance space and focus primarily on what I needed to heal from the inside. And so it was music that I really believe was what kept me calm and stress-free in a highly stressed environment. And I don't know if you know anything about third-degree burns, but it is the highest form of pain. No drugs will alleviate that pain. So no matter what kind of medicine they gave me, or morphine or anything like that, it never quelled the pain, but music did. And so that's how I focused on healing my body, and healing from the inside out was through music. Yeah.
I got goosebumps all over my body.
Yay!
It's a great story to share. And
Thank you.
I am really, really happy that God gave us back.
Me too. Thank you so much. And actually there was a moment when I had left my body, when I died under the truck. I went up into the sky, and they always talk about in your near-death experience that you go towards a light of your understanding. So you either go, like if you're a little child, you might go to your parents' bedroom, or if you're a lawyer, you go to your office or something like that. But my favorite time of day is sunset, because when I was a child, we used to travel a lot. My parents also were doctors who travel around the world, and we would fly at night so that my brother and I would fall asleep. And it was my favorite time to be in a plane in the air. It was around this beautiful, glowing, setting sun. And when I died, that's where I went, was towards that setting sun. So they talk about going to the light of your understanding, the light that draws you. And so that's the sun that I went to. And while I was in the sky towards the setting sun, I heard this music. Ama from Maiche, Ama from Maiche. And it was this word I'd never heard before, and this song that I'd heard before. And when I came back, and after I went through years of therapy and healing, I sang that song to a woman who said, "Oh my God, you're singing in this ancient language that I'd never heard of before. And it means from Mother Earth to Mother God," which I did not know this at all. And it was just really powerful to know, like, how I do believe that we have a cellular memory of ancient ways and ancient traditions and ancient beings, and our connection to ancestors that we don't even know about, and how we're all connected as humans. And for us to have, different ways that we separate ourselves because of race, or because of money, or because of, where you live globally, or who you associate with, is just silly at this point in time, because we're all so connected. And I think that it's music that connects us, whether it's words we know and songs we know, or words that I learn and songs that I learned from you that was your great 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 grandmother's, and I didn't even know it, but I'm singing it suddenly from a place and space that I didn't even mean to go to, which was the sky as I died. So I think that's really why, when I came back, and I was very committed to creating the International Cultural Arts and Healing Sciences Institute, to look specifically at that, to look at ways that we can do cultural preservation and heritage honoring, while still sharing these beautiful, magical things that connect us all through art, through music, through song, through dance, through connection, through empowerment of our youth, primarily our girls, allowing them to feel and know that they are healers on a genetic level. And so if we don't protect them and help them understand that they are the way that our species is going to continue, and we don't start treasuring our young girls, then we're in real trouble. And so that's why I do what I do, and why I travel where I travel, and why I sing all the time. And every time I go anywhere, I ask to go to orphanages or hospitals and sing to young children, particularly our girls, to let them know that they are heard, they are seen, they are loved, and they are treasured.
Well, that's really inspiring. You actually answered my next question. As an empowered woman, how do you empower women?
That's it. And I empower other women also just by example. I think that our empowerment is self-driven. And so the only way to show someone how to be empowered is to be empowered. And a lot of times it's hard for us to access. A lot of people who are used to not being seen or heard are reminded of their power when they see someone else step into that place. And so they can activate their own power by emulation and by example. And so it's very important to me to not only go to these places and work with the youth and young women to inspire them to recognize their own power, but also to have us become a stronger community together. Like, let's all of us go to the orphanage, let's all of us go to the hospital, let's all of us go sing together, let's all of us go talk about ways that we can tackle issues that affect us. As young women, we're targeted particularly young women of color from all over the world. We have to make sure that, the young girls, one of the things as a board member of the Voss Foundation, I don't know if you all have Voss water here, but one of our missions is to work with the young girls in sub-Saharan Africa on the water trail, and to make sure that these young girls who spend their whole day going from their village to the watering well, through the jungle, through really rugged, rough terrain, through danger zones for their safety, not only from the elements, but from other people who wish to do them harm and view them as a viable target, is to help get them into school so they don't have to do that anymore. Get them in, business trades that allow them to create their own form of economy so that they can take care of themselves, take care of their families, without having to do these things that put them in harm's way. And it's that kind of creative thinking that we as Force women have to remember how to do, and we have to help not be lazy, but to engage and to engage other women, and to do that everywhere, at every level, in every way. Yay.
So, as you mentioned before, you're traveling all around the world with your music, and it's your second time in Azerbaijan.
Yes.
So what are your first impressions with our local female artists or women that you've met, that you've worked together?
Yes.
What do you think of them? How do you see them?
They are a force to be reckoned with, that is for sure. I think that the women here have a roar inside of them. And when they are given space to roar, they do. They are fierce, they are strong, and they are very clear about, in the States we call it being woke. They're very awake. And so when you give them an opportunity, they seize it, because they're not asleep. They're not like sucked into, not recognizing what's in front of them. A lot of times people that I've seen that are very much so into watching TV only all the time, or, kind of not really in a space to see the world around them as an opportunity, but as something that is oppressive to them, which is understandable because all of our situations are different. But if we can recognize when we have an opportunity in front of us and we can capture upon it, then we raise the bar on what our opportunities are the next time. And the women here in Azerbaijan do that. Absolutely, 100%. And as artists, I give them a little bit of coaching and guidance, and they jump on top of it. They learn it right away. They implement it right away. They're absolutely wide awake to what's in front of them right now, and they seize upon that opportunity. And that's really rare, and that's incredible. And that kind of grit and resilience is something that you can't really teach in a classroom. It's just a lifestyle you have to embrace. And so it feels to me that here in Azerbaijan, the women are in a place where they can, if nothing else, be supported by other women who encourage that kind of resilience and grit, even if it's not always present in front of them right away in the home or the workplace. It seems like there's a secret space for women to be empowered in their own way and have it show up in another way that you might not be expecting to see it, like in music or singing, or the way that you all choose to dress, or the way that you all choose to move. It comes up and it's got a sneak attack factor. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I think women in Azerbaijan will be very happy to hear your precious words. Force Magazine's main objective is to empower women and to be a voice for the voiceless.
Yes.
And people will see you and people will read you. What are your final words for Azerbaijani women and men?
Yes. I really do believe that as a living organic creature on this earth, be you woman, man, animal, plant, there's something to be said for the fire of life, and the way to share your own inner fire for life is through your authentic voice. And you find your authentic voice by being brave, and find your heart voice by accessing your own love. And so if I was to give any kind of guidance after being someone who's died and come back, is that life is precious. Every day is precious. You have no idea what's going to happen. So to wait until tomorrow to do something might be too late. So why not embrace it today? And embrace it by being your fullest, biggest self. Wear mismatched clothes, walk around. Who knows what you want to do to allow your full freedom of expression? But today's the day to do it. And today's the day to access your heart voice and feel empowered and be inspiring. And by being inspiring to the world, you'll also be inspired by the world. And it becomes this beautiful cycle that allows your fire and desire for life to shine through.
Thank you so much. Thank you for accepting my invitation, and thank you for your precious time.
It's my
your
honor.
contribution,
Thank
and
you.
Your precious. Okay.
And I love the name, Force. Swaggering, strong, courageous, fierce. And you are a force to be reckoned with, honey. Force. Take this back. Force. If you haven't gotten it yet, get it now.
Thank you.
Yay.